Convicted child killer Billy Ray Irick picks burger, onion rings as his last meal. Convicted child killer Billy Ray Irick will eat a burger and onion rings before he is executed on Thursday night. Irick, who was convicted of raping and murdering 7-year-old Paula Dyer in 1985, selected the Super Deluxe combo for his last meal. The meal includes a Super Deluxe burger, onion rings, and a Pepsi soft drink, according to the Tennessee Department of Correction. The name of the restaurant will not be released out of an abundance of caution, according to a department spokeswoman. Death row inmates are limited to $20 for their last meal, according to the Tennessean. Irick, 59, was moved to death watch this week, meaning he is in an 8 feet by 10 feet cell inside of the death chamber with strictly regulated visitation rights. If there is no intervention by the U.S. Supreme Court, Irick will be put to death on Thursday and become the first inmate executed by the state since 2009. Irick was first set to be executed on May 4, 1987. His attorneys have filed a series of appeals through the decades, with claims of insanity and the unconstitutional use of the electric chair as a backup to lethal injection. In July, Irick's attorney asked for the Tennessee Supreme Court to delay his execution once again amid a challenge to the state's lethal injection protocol. For the first time, Tennessee is planning to use midazolam as a sedative, the muscle relaxer vicuronium bromide, and then potassium chloride to stop the heart. At question is whether midazolam is effective in rendering someone unconscious and unable to feel pain from the other two drugs. But Tennessee Supreme Court judges ruled Irick's attorney had failed to demonstrate a substantially less painful means to carry out the execution or that the drugs the state plans to use would cause the inmate to be tortured to death. Federal public defender Kelly Henry has since requested the U.S. Supreme Court to delay his execution. The Supreme Court, which had not issued its decision by Thursday morning, rarely stays executions. Henry had asked Governor Bill Haslam to issue a temporary reprieve while the drugs are studied further. But the governor quickly ruled it out, saying he would not intervene. "My role is not to be the 13th juror or the judge or to impose my personal views, but to carefully review the judicial process to make sure it was full and fair," Henry said. Because of the extremely thorough judicial review of all of the evidence and arguments at every stage in this case, clemency is not appropriate. During the last trial, Henry cited witnesses that described some inmates who still could move, shed a tear, gasp and gulp like a fish out of water while being put to death. Today's decision means that Mr. Irick faces a scheduled execution date before the courts have had a chance to thoughtfully consider the challenge to the new lethal injection protocol, Henry said in a statement on Monday. In a dissenting opinion, Justice Sharon Lee added that she will not join in the rush to execute Mr. Irick and would instead grant him a stay to prevent ending his life before his appeal can be adjudicated. Attorneys for the state have said the U.S. Supreme Court has upheld the use of midazolam in a 3-drug series. Paula's mother, Kathy Jeffers, said she has no sympathy for Irick. "What he did to her is the reason he's where he is," she told Burt TV. "I am sick of hearing about his pain and his suffering." What about her pain and her suffering? She was 7 years old, raped, sodomized, and strangled to death. "I'm sorry, I feel nothing for his pain. Nothing at all. God, forgive me, but I don't."